A new year is a great chance to start fresh and set new aggressive goals. On this episode of MYDM, we are covering what we've learned in 2018 and how it will help us prepare for financial success in 2019, Malcolm. So I'll start this show or this segment, Malcolm, by asking you, what have you learned about money that you plan to take into the next year, sir?
I mean, that is a loaded question.
Indeed,
I want to say like everything. But I will say one thing that I learned, I guess I could say I learned, that I validated for myself was the value of investing back into yourself through the course of the year. So I mentioned in previous episodes that I paid, out of pocket to go to school at Georgetown to do this course, to then go, do the financial planner exam. And I can't be happier with the purchase, quote unquote, if you will, right? And so the value of that additional education that I was able to get, I don't even care what it cost.
Right.
So that's something that I intend to continue to do every single year for however long my calendar is as clear as it is without, kids and other time commitments. Because I can feel and see directly the value of it.
Right. For me, I think I recently just learned that I sometimes hesitate on financial moves that I should make. I'm not as quick to pull the trigger because I like to think about it, which ends up biting me in the butt because it's like you're wasting time and energy. Also, sometimes I think, it's been a couple times where I looked back and I said, I should have done X. And why didn't I do X at the time? Or why didn't I think of doing X at the time? And so that's something that I'm going to be working on for the next year, is try to be more clairvoyant, so to speak, of what needs to happen for my financial situation. But Malcolm, now that you're a certified financial planner, you can kind of speak more authoritatively on topics like these. What's the first thing people need to do when looking back on their last year to make improvements for the coming year?
Well, the end of the year is a great time to do this because you get a chance to look at your entire year's budget and cash flow and find out where your money actually went, right? Because when the year starts, we have an idea.
Sure.
If we budget at all, we've got allocations of, I'm going to spend this amount on rent, I'm going to spend this amount on food, so and so and so and so.
Right.
But then to be able to have the validation at the end of the year of, you were right in these areas, you were wrong in these areas, and then take stock of how much of this do I expect to change next year or stay the same.
Right.
This is the perfect time to be having those kind of check-ins, if you will, especially if you're a household of more than one, where you've got to also check in with another person to then be able to have a conversation about, look at the damage we did in these areas. Here's some places that I am willing to pull back on. Where are you willing to pull back, or do I need to make suggestions? Those conversations are best served for December, I would think. Everybody's in a good mood.
Holiday time.
Santa's coming to town, all that good stuff. It's the perfect opportunity to take advantage of that goodwill and say, let's sit down and have this real conversation about, what 2019 is going to entail.
Very good. And with that, we thought we'd just put together a quick list of things to keep you on track for planning your 2019 or your finances in 2019. Step one, and this is really for looking back, you have to celebrate your wins. Much of our time spent on money ends up being about what we did wrong or what wasn't ideal. Take a minute to celebrate wins, big or small, to put your self-esteem in the right place so you can move forward confidently. That's a really big deal because, sometimes the weight of your financial moves weighs heavily on you. And you got to get in the right headspace for that.
But you got to write them down.
Yeah, you do, which is part of what's to come. Step two, consider major goals for the new year. What are major financial priorities for your 2019? As Malcolm said, make a list, write them down, and create a plan for how they can be accomplished. Be as specific as possible. And then, of course, this is one of those mind psychological things. Put the list in a place you can see it on a regular basis. So refrigerator, your bathroom mirror, etc., somewhere you go all the time.
I rewrite it.
Okay.
So I can't even say, I'm so disciplined that every month I sit down but when I think about it, so maybe it's 2 months, 3 months go by, I actually go through the exercise of putting a check mark next to all the ones I've actually completed. and rewrite the whole list and then put the check marks by the one so that I can feel the validation of got it done.
Sure.
But also remind myself the other 8 things or whatever that are on the list.
Do you keep all the papers in a stack of the old list, or you get rid of the old
So I have a journal, like a bound journal that I can flip back to the front and flip back to where I actually am and, whatever.
So they're all in there?
They're all in there.
Okay.
And actually in 2018, I'm pretty confident that I actually checked all the boxes.
Oh, wow.
I was surprised.
Well, congratulations.
But then that means that I also wasn't aiming high enough, I guess, if everything got done.
Or maybe you're just really effective and efficient. So another item that you got to do, or you can consider doing, have an accountability partner.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Tell me why an accountability partner.
Well, I think if you have a spouse,
that's a built-in one,
or any other kind of significant other,
right?
That's probably built in, whether you want it or not.
Sure.
And if it's not built in, you guys need to have a serious conversation about where your focus is financially, because somebody's got to be the one keeping focus and, making sure. But I think kind of to the point we were making about talking to your friends about money and also specifically your money, what that also helps to do is create an accountability partner. Like I've got a friend, for example, who works for a company that part of his plan for 2018 was to buy more and more stock of that company that he works for as the year goes on so that he can build up a portfolio.
Right.
And so every once in a while when we're sitting having a beer just randomly talking about stuff, I check in with him.
Like,
how many extra shares did you pick up, in the last month or two?
Right.
Are you still on pace to get to, and just having that extra touch point every once in a while, knowing that somebody else is going to check you on it, also helps you to be more likely to get that goal done, because you want the satisfaction, at least I personally want the satisfaction of being able to say, glad you asked. Let me tell you about this thing that I just accomplished.
Indeed.